This was a radio show recorded for Islington Radio. To hear the full show with songs, you can find the link in description or search Islington Radio on Mixcloud. Pod on Islington Radio. Pod. Hello and welcome back to 22 Gram Pod on Islington Radio. This week's show sees the return of In Demand of Best New Indie fame on Instagram, as she makes a case for the new generation of indie sleaze. Right, so indie sleaze, you wanted to talk about, last time we talked about resurgence of Britpop, and now it's indie sleaze apparently.
It is indie sleaze, yeah. That is the new thing for well, not for this month, but it just seems to be. It seems to be a thing that is kind of come back. There's been lots of articles about it. There's been lots of sort of talk about it, and I kind of wanted to do a special to put something together. It probably stems from working at NME back in the day, because it's a very Steve Sutherland thing to do, to be honest. And I was his PA at the time, but sort of sitting in meetings and working out what's happening with bands and what's sort of, trying to sort of put together bands that are sort of either similar or doing a sort of similar thing or happening in a similar part of the country. So yeah, I thought I would try and sort of put something together and call it indie sleaze.
yeah, creating the trends. Respect.
Yeah, well, they're already there, but it's just it's just kind of putting stuff together, and I think people find it not necessarily easier, but I think people can connect to something better if there are things sort of put together in a playlist or
yeah, I know what you mean,
on a cover or yeah. So what do you think about indie sleaze then?
Well, I was thinking I would class indie sleaze as like Klaxons onwards, really, but from what you were saying, that's not really what people. I think it's all getting grouped in now, isn't it? From like the Strokes onwards or something. Yeah,
I mean, it is. It's a time period, I guess. So there's lots of articles. There's been quite a lot of stuff. So there's quite a lot of stuff. Vogue and quite a few magazines have been saying that the fashion's coming back. So I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, I sort of Googled it on Wikipedia. It says indie sleaze is 2006 to 2012. And it includes bands, The Strokes, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and Interpol. But I would also say, and a few other articles that I was sort of Googling, said it's LCD Sound System, MGMT, MIA, The Gossip, and then Libertines as well, and Arctic Monkeys too. So it's kind of like,
so every band from the 2000s, basically.
It's kind of all the 2000s, but I so part of it, some indie sleaze things are sort of saying it's more of a kind of electro sounding, like electro clash. The way I was defining it for my sort of cover special was I sort of did it as bands that are sort of swapping traditional guitar, bass, and drums for electronic backing tracks and using samples. So kind of like indie bangers with repetitive lyrics that are kind of like would get an indie kid dancing. So something with not just like an Oasis sound alike or something trying to sound like, like an Arctic Monkeys sound alike, something a band's using samplers and on stage or, using sort of electronic stuff on stage, backing tracks on stage, and they're not just standing there with guitars and drums.
Yeah, I mean, that would kind of make sense in terms of the expensive stuff as well. I'll probably keep the expense down. don't need the drummer or whatever.
Well, maybe. I mean, I think a lot of these bands, a lot of the bands I'm sharing do have a full band, and they use and they've got this sort of the backing tracks as well.
Right. Okay.
I think it's kind of I think it's kind of a mixture. I mean, I'm sort of, I guess I'm sort of veering away. I haven't really sort of suggested anybody that's like a DJ at home. I mean, there are plenty of people on Spotify and making decent music in their bedroom, but they're not playing live. So I think, especially with Best New Indie, with the blog, I like to share bands or artists that are playing live as well. So you listening to them, but you can also go and see them. So I want them to have a bit of a vibe live and that are also good live,
No, yeah,
rather
fair play.
than just sort of musically good in their room, because that's kind of like more like traditional dance music, I would say. You know, it's interesting because my husband is into dance music. Like it's hilarious. He hates indie music, which has got it's not it's it's kind of good in a way and not so good in another way. But when I've played him stuff that I think he's dancey, he's like, no, that's not dance music. That's not, that's too indie. So that's what's kind of interesting. So I'm kind of like saying indie alternative dance, with more controversial lyrics, not just thinking about not just talking about love and going out to the club and stuff like that sort of thing. And
Yeah,
I think it's the fashion, as I say, and apparently the fashion is coming back as well. I mean, I spoke to so it's all kind of so it's been sort of brewing on the internet for a while. There was a documentary called Meet Me in the Bathroom from 2017, well, a book by Lizzie Goodman, and a documentary that followed
yeah.
Will Lace and Dylan Southern, which was all about LCD Sound System and the Strokes and the yeah, and all the rest of it. That was from 2017. So I think people have just got an appetite. Maybe they're looking back on it, if they're kind of in the 20s or mid to late 20s, and then looking back at when they first got into music, or I mean, your blog is very much, your page, your YouTube channel, all the rest of it. It is kind of around that time, which is why I wanted to speak to you about it, really.
I don't know, when I hear indie sleaze, it doesn't really it doesn't feel like my thing, but it kind of, like you say, it kind of includes bands that I like.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird one. It's not really like properly defined, is it? But
Well, no, I mean, when you were in it, when you were living in it, it wasn't called indie sleaze, so it
true,
was
yeah.
bands that were around at the time. So it's kind of been named.
It feels like to me, it feels like the messy period where it kind of went from. Do you remember? I don't know. There's like a period where like things started to slip into like dubstep and stuff.
Yeah.
End of the 2000s, it all got a bit weird.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess it was before all the talent shows came in, or before X Factor and all the rest of it. So it's kind of like, or maybe that was around the same time. But yeah, so bands and artists that are swapping, that are using electronic sounds, but aren't referencing early 80s particularly, but maybe perhaps they are a bit, but they're not trying to sound like a 90s band.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's
You know,
interesting.
yeah.
Let's go
So
to the first song then.
yeah, so the first song has got to be Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish with Guess, which is the song of the Brat Summer. And we can talk about Brat Summer in a minute after we've heard it.
Okay, well, let's play the song then. Yeah, this is Charlie XCX with Billie Eilish and Guess.
Hey, Billy, you there?
So yeah, so that was released 7th of June. Well, no, the album was. So Brat. So have you seen all the Brat green covers? The Charlie XCX just gone massive all over everywhere.
I've definitely heard about this song. Yeah, I've not really. This is the first time I probably listened to it.
Oh,
And
okay.
Brian Bratson was everywhere. It's even like dominant in the US election and stuff in it.
Yeah, the color. So basically, it was quite interesting. So they basically developed. Apparently, the marketing company for Charlie XCX went through something like 100 shades of green to get this particular Brat shade of green for the album cover, and it's Pantone shade 3507C. So when I was doing my cover, I was thinking, right, the back of this cover has got to be that exact green. So
Right.
you're looking at the Pantone color. So it's so they chose this green. Apparently they looked at lots of different things. They looked at Starbucks logo, they looked at everything that was green. And then yeah, there you go. And we were just looking at it on screen, and they came up with this vibrant green, and then they came up with the text for the cover, which apparently is Arial font, and then they made it kind of 90, the kind of like looked like it was 20 years old. They made it all fuzzy, and they did the whole marketing, and it was just the marketing. I mean, I think a whole wall in, I think it was New York or somewhere, was painted that color. So the vibe for this album was just, I mean, clever marketing, but absolutely everywhere. So you haven't really been able to avoid it. But it's odd because a whole music genre has now got a color.
Yeah, fair play. You
So,
having a brat summer yourself, or?
well, I've been asking a few people if they're having a brat summer. Now, I'm probably not of the right age group to be having a brat summer, but I've been asking people who are. My niece, I asked her, she's 24, and I said, "Are you having a brat summer?" She said, "Yeah, I definitely am." And I said, "What is it?" And she's like, "Well, it's a messy girl era, staying out late without caring what people think."
Right. So being young,
So,
basically.
well, yeah, but more like, I guess, kind of like more of a not giving a shit attitude, more of a. So apparently, it was it was the fashionable clean girl aesthetic. So I guess it's all kind of like lip fillers and nails and high maintenance girls and all the rest of it, and looking perfect on Instagram and everything.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think a lot of people, a lot of the new kind of vibe for a lot of people, for a lot of young girls, I'm sure guys as well, but young girls is kind of like going out, smudged eyeliner, wearing secondhand grunge clothes, and not having that clean girl look.
Yeah,
And apparently Charlie XCX talks about that and then bodifies that.
fair
So
play.
and the songs and the lyrics and the whole album. So it's kind of a zeitgeist of the summer. And I mean, if you Google it, not Google it, if you go on TikTok and look at Brat Summer, there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands. I mean, the song off the album Apple has had 99 million listens, and Von Dutch has had 91 million listens. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of people to be listening to one track.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's wild, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's kind of what Brat Summer is, and I guess we're having it.
Yeah, well, I'm up for wearing what you want, looking how you want to look. Been doing that for about 5 years, I
Oh, have you?
think.
You've been up for 5 years. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, I certainly have not a clean girl aesthetic. I mean, in terms of all the sort of high maintenance stuff and all the rest of it, much more of a rock chick, I guess. So anyway, so the next track, so on from that, so there's kind of the poster boy of this scene, this kind of indie sleaze, is this guy, Harrison Patrick Smith, who's also known as the Dare. Now, he was a primary school teacher, apparently. He started DJing, so there's a massive Instagram page called Indie Sleaze with how many followers? 204,000 followers on Instagram.
Mm.
I don't know whether you've looked at that.
Yeah, you followed it for a while, yeah.
You follow it for a while. So apparently that's run by a girl called Olivia V. And the Dare was mates with her, and she shared his music, and it blew up and he got signed.
Right. Who
So
should So what is sorry, it's shared on their page and then he blew
shared on
up.
the page. Yeah, apparently she started sharing it. I mean, I wish I'd got that many followers. But yeah, she started sharing his music. Or I don't know. I was looking back to see if I could find it, but apparently she's a mate of his. And shared the Dare, and then he got signed, and he's just gone bananas.
Yeah, I mean I've definitely seen him. Someone's people comparing him to like having like a Paul Weller look or whatever.
I guess so. I think it's more kind of early kind of 2000s look. with his sort of Prada suit and his skinny tie and his, I don't know. He's like all the videos of him like partying and hanging around with smoking and kind of drinking, and it's kind of like that really. It's kind of like early, this is why it's sort of indie sleaze. He's kind of dirty. He's got a song called Sex, and he's just kind of sleazy and dirty, and I think Paul Weller's a bit clean.
But, I mean, some of the lyrics to these songs are pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah.
Not holding anything back. But yeah, let's play the song then. This is The Dare with Perfume.
I've got a new obsession of mine.
Yeah, pretty full on lyrics there. But I thought it was all right. Nothing amazing, but
not for you, no?
Didn't massively grab me. I don't know. The perfume hook, I didn't really find that interesting, but
no, I mean his other stuff is it's just fun, I think.
Yeah, fair play.
His big hit was Girls. His big one, Big Girls is the biggest. I'm just looking on Spotify, and then there's Sex. You're Invited is the new one, which is just repeating. You're invited to my party. It's very kind of rock and roll. It's you can dance to it, and the reel, when I share reels, when I started sharing the Dare and stuff, they'd just go, but they would go, there'd be a lot of views. A lot of people were really liking it and really getting into it and stuff. So that is good.
No, yeah, fair play. Then the next band, I wasn't expecting to see them in there. No. I don't think Fontaines DC. How come they make the cut?
Well, that track makes the cut.
Okay.
So have you seen all of the adverts for their show?
I don't think so.
So basically, they advertised in the Brat green.
All right.
Yeah. So if you look at all their marketing, it's all the Brat color green.
Right.
And they had a change of image as well, didn't they?
Okay.
So did you notice that they came back for the new album wearing like skirts and red hair and neon green jackets and stuff like that? Did that and hair in pigtails?
I saw an interview with them with NME, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you've obviously changed a lot," but I didn't realize that they've gone to those lengths.
Well, they did when they first came back, and I just thought they were kind of like I've always liked them, but in terms of the way they dressed, they were more just like a t-shirt and jeans band, and then they came back with this fashionable, I don't know what you call it, sort of different image. And I think that particular track, I think Starburster, I don't know what the rest of the album's like. There's a track out tomorrow.
This kind of vibe.
I don't know because the other two singles aren't. So this is more, I would say this is definitely indie sleaze. This is got the beat, it's got the look, and as I say, the advertising for the gig is very much of that vibe,
Okay. So see this picture here, is that what you mean?
This is what I'm saying. This is what this is what they seem to be dressing like now.
Right. Fair play.
Fair play to them. It's a look. Certainly is a
quite
look.
Grungy, isn't it?
It's quite grungy. Yeah. Look at the jacket colour though.
No, yeah, definitely.
That colour. You need to go and get yourself a green suit or something.
It's interesting. I hadn't heard about this colour. It is interesting. I'm going to be looking out for it now.
You are. You'll see it everywhere. You'll absolutely see it everywhere.
All right. Well, let's play the song. Played it a few times on the show, I think. But Fontaines DC with Starburster. Yeah, no holds barred on the next band name, Adult DVD.
Adult DVD, yeah.
Very to the point.
Yeah. So yeah, I think so as I say, I was sort of like, my mind was sort of going into this sort of genre sort of area, and they came up on my feed, and I was just like, this band is ideal for this. They are they're kind of an indie band. I don't know loads about them. I had a chat to them this morning. They're kind of like they're from Leeds. They're sort of like dance rock. From the videos that I've seen, their gigs look more like raves.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's definitely got that vibe, and just put a
yeah,
groovy vibe to it. Yeah.
yeah. And apparently they're influenced by Soulwax and the Chemical Brothers. They've got an electronic setup, and the gigs look packed, and yeah, they look exciting. They look fun, and I love the tracks. And they've got another track called Bill Murray. And yeah, interesting, funny, and fun, and doing something different.
Cool. Well, let's hear it. His adult DVD with Doomsday Prepper. Yeah, it's definitely like a Yard Act vibe there, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Yard Act, I think, have been going that way as well.
Right, yeah.
We make hits, and quite a few of the Yard Act stuff from earlier this year, I think, is certainly going towards that vibe.
Do you think it's just like, yeah, it's more of a less serious type vibe, isn't there? Which I'm quite enjoying.
Yeah. I mean, Doomsday Preppers, it's like, it's quite a cheer. It's sort of a fun dance beat and all the rest of it, and they're basically singing about preparing for Doomsday. I mean, the lyrics are really quite depressing.
Yes, fair enough.
But they've got another one called Bill Murray, which is just about kind of 90s films, I think, well, kind of 90s 2000 films. So yeah, they're good fun.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm sure went through like a phase of things being quite political, didn't it, with like idols and people like that. So maybe it's a new phase of just like being, well, just having a laugh, but having more of a laugh in the face of absolute chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Next band, I'm pretty sure you've played them before on here, haven't you, Shelf Lives?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have played Shelf Lives before. Consistently really good band. She's a Canadian girl and a guy from London, and I guess they describe themselves as electro punk. They're doing really well. The singles are consistently good. They look really good live, and they're just, as I say, they're doing something different. They're out there. They're more doing something more interesting, and yeah, they just they stand out for what they're doing. I guess if you're going to compare them, I don't know, maybe the Gossip, maybe yes. This is why I sort of put them in. They've got female fronted sort of vibe, sort of grungy, kind of indie, that sort of thing.
No, yeah, I was enjoying the guitar. It was good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's play it. Let's listen to Shelf Lives with Where Did I Go?
How do I say it? 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 Get on my feet.
Cool. And then next one, another band we've played before.
Yeah.
Dead Rat Society.
Yeah. They're one of my favourites.
Yeah.
So I had a chat to them today. So I sort of said to them, what does indie sleaze mean to them? I spoke to Ed, the lead singer and the songwriter. He sort of said, early Pete Doherty, Camden fun, early sort of dirty Camden fun. He said nowadays it's kind of become a bit too sanitized and clean cut, or has been, has done previously, kind of like BBC punks, he didn't say that, but, like he said, like safety pins on a Prada jacket.
Yeah, I mean, did you watch that Camden documentary on Disney?
Yes, I did watch
that. Kind of sums up the next. It went from like, I don't know, Madness and the Libertines to like Young Blood and Dua Lipa.
Yeah, I think it was a bit tentative, some of those connections.
Yeah.
But what I did notice about the Camden documentary is they didn't talk about any new bands, which is a shame. I suppose they're trying to frame Young Blood as like some kind of edgy, someone a bit edgy, but it's not really, is it? Yeah. I don't. He's maybe he was edgy when he started, but I mean, he's kind of highly marketed and stuff now. So
yeah.
It's just one of those things that happens, I guess, once you get really popular. But yeah, Dead Rat Society, they're kind of that vibe. They're kind of dancey, they're kind of hip hop influenced, they're really, really strong live, and they're lyrically really clever. I mean, this song Shoplifter's Welcome, it's got a message, and it's political, and it's, you know, all wrapped up in like a 2-minute banger.
Excellent. Well, let's listen to it then. Here's Dead Rat Society with Shoplifter's Welcome. And then the next song, probably my favourite that you sent across.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I've heard this band before. I think you might have included them before.
Yeah.
I think I might have seen them on my own like release radar before, I think.
Yeah, so I wanted to include Wooze because I think they embody this perfectly. Their image is really, really strong. We're talking about the colours, so they've always used yellow, and all their branding is really good. I mean, they're a pretty popular band. I think they're really probably more popular in the Far East than they are over here. But they've been doing this for probably 4 years and sounding like this. So, and they just got single out as I did my compilation. So I thought, well, I want to put them in because they've kind of been doing it before all this, you know, came back.
Whereabouts is it? Just the two of them or something?
Yeah, it's just the two. I think they have they do have a band on stage, so I think they've got live drums and live bass and guitar. The drummer sings and writes, and he's at the back. Yeah, I mean, they're another band I've been desperate to see and haven't managed to see. And but yeah, have a look at their videos. The videos are really, really good. And I'd say this is the new single.
Cool. All right. Well, here it is. Here's Wooze with Sabertooth Spider. Yeah, I love that melody on the chorus.
Yeah, I don't know what a saber-toothed spider is, but I'd like to see one.
Yeah, sounds like some kind of NFT.
Yeah.
You say they begin the Far East?
Yeah, I think so. Because one of their I don't know. I don't know where in the Far East, but the a lot of the translations and things. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly, but I get the impression that they do really well over there.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought like it'd be good if a band, I reckon like if a band just rocked up in Japan or somewhere.
Yeah.
They'd cause a bit of a fuss, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, they would. I mean, a lot of these bands, I think the thing is with this type of music, I think it's probably not, it's probably bigger in it's sort of Eastern Europe and places like that.
Right.
And probably over in the Far East than it is over here at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. I can imagine it going down well at a festival or something.
Yeah, I've not seen them on a lot of festival lineups. I mean, it's a shame. There's a lot of bands that I follow. I almost want to turn the festival lineups upside down because I always like the ones on the bottom.
Yeah, it's just stay around.
It's getting bands to the mid range and the higher levels of festivals is extremely hard. And there's a lot of indie bands out there, I think, that sound a lot like Oasis and Arctic Monkeys, and there is a lot that sounds similar, I think.
Yeah. Like how stupid question really, but how competitive is it for like festival slots? Is it a bit mental?
Yeah, I mean absolutely mental. And I guess they have to look at them almost like a year in advance for a lot of them. So they're trying to forecast what bands are going to be bigger. I think bands who are signed, bands with big management, bands with contacts, some of it's who for a lot of these festivals, because they must get thousands and thousands of submissions. And how do they decide who's going to be popular and who's going to do well the following year, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you heard? I mean, there's some other bands I wanted to mention as part of this. Really, have you heard? Obviously, have you heard of Fat Dog?
Fat Dog, I don't think so.
Fat Dog are really big. They're probably the biggest band on this kind of scene. They're
right.
signed to Domino. Yeah, Fat Dog are very much this kind of thing. So
So
and also it was part of this. The Justice album came out this year, so Justice were really, I think, Justice were part of that indie sleaze sound period. And there's a band called the Flints from Manchester who I've championed quite a bit, and they did a song with Justice on the Justice album because apparently Justice heard them on Instagram and messaged them directly and said, "Do a track with us." I mean, how mad is that?
That's mental, yeah. Didn't they just do the closing ceremony of the Olympics or something?
Yeah, no, that was the other one. That was the other French band, wasn't it? Don't think it was Justice. What's the other big French band?
No, Phoenix did it. I thought Justice was there as well.
Oh, maybe it was. I didn't see it. Did Justice do it as well?
I don't actually watch it, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I thought I heard that there.
But I mean, yeah, I love Justice, but seeing them live, they just sort of stand there. I mean, they've got all the visuals and all the rest of it, and as I say, they are phenomenal. But I don't know how a band, because it's because the indie scene is pub based. I don't know how a band like Justice would come up through the ranks if they were brand new.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Because they're difficult to book on a regular indie band night.
I think they'd play like club nights that are like designated to that type of music, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, maybe.
With like slightly bigger venues.
Yeah, but it's kind of like these are the bands that are kind of like not dancey enough to be on a DJ set, you know, on a club night, but are still, you can dance to them.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go to the next one, and it's the fella from Trampoline, isn't it?
It is the fella from Trampoline, somebody that you know. So this is an interesting one. So you obviously know of Trampoline and stuff?
Yeah. Been around for a while now.
See, there's the Libertines connection there.
I didn't know he's gone solo with this type of stuff, though.
Yeah, so he's gone solo. So that was interesting, and I was interested to hear what it was. And he came out with this, which is like a dance banger with his phenomenally clever lyrics, and I just love it.
No, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I know he's like a big poetry guy.
Yeah. So this is his poetry to like a dance beat. I mean, Breathe was the first single, which is really good. This to me, this is why I put them on. That's why I put him on this part of this indie sleaze thing, because this to me is a dance club tune. I don't know why it's not massive. I thought it should have been rotation on Radio 1, but there you go. I think it could have been massive this summer.
Fair play. Well, let's listen to it. Here's Jack Jones with Who Let the Bass Pump Through the Floor.
Sharon's down from number 9. Who turned it off? Get it right back on right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a grower, isn't it? It's got like that melody. I'll be interested to know how it comes together, one of those songs. Like, I can't imagine him messing around with those synths, but maybe he does it all.
Yeah. I don't know. He's obviously that's the direction he wanted to go in. The album is out fairly soon. Really looking forward to that. I just love that track. I mean, the buzzer at the beginning, like somebody coming in the flat, and then all the songs and stories of the party vibe. And as I say, I think that track should have been massive.
Better play, yeah.
So.
And then over to America, a band that I've had on the podcast, one of my only...
Oh, have you? Okay.
One of my only ever in-person interviews as well, actually. When they came to Manchester, I went and met them at the...
Oh, fantastic. Did you?
I can't remember the name of the venue now. Anyway, it's like quite a famous old pub in Manchester city centre.
Yeah. What were they like?
Yeah, nice bloke, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool that I know that they got some kind of record deal now, which is cool.
Yeah, they have signed a nice one now. They're on a record label called Blowtorch, which is an Irish label. Really good. Richard at Blowtorch is really good at talent spotting. He's got there's a few bands. Obviously, I couldn't do 25 tracks on this podcast, but Nixer are really good. They're really worth a mention because Sean from Nixer is kind of very much on this kind of vibe as well. He was on my showcase. He was brilliant, and also Swedish Railway Orchestra are worth a listen. If it's it's of that kind of vibe. So there's really good bands it's picking up, but there's also this kind of electronic indie sleaze, whatever you call it, sound as well on that label. Good label.
Yes, yeah, okay, well, let's play it then. Here's Jagged Baptist Club with You Are a Dog. Yeah, I've just Googled that venue. It's the Castle Hotel.
Oh, okay. That must have been a few years ago. That was when they were touring then. A couple of years ago, was it?
That'd have been 2022. Yeah, around November time, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like them, and they're I love their Instagram, and they come across as they're quite funny. And Blake has like a plaster over his nose, doesn't he, a lot of the time? And
yeah. I mean, the reason that came across him, like he messaged me because he was banging to like the era that we cover on the podcast.
Oh, really?
So that's how I like. Yes,
oh,
it's been.
Okay.
He's always
when they share tracks, they share quite a lot of Primal Scream and kind of early stuff like that. I very often comment on what they share. I like the tracks that they share. Maybe the big Anglophiles.
Yeah, it's quite funny because he said he worked. I don't know if he still works there, but he said he worked in the Apple store and he'd in Los Angeles, and like he's had like hilarious people come in to like fix the phones. He said on one of his days off, apparently Liam Gallagher went in.
No.
So
yeah, excited. He would have liked to meet him.
Yeah, he was gutted apparently.
Yeah. Cool.
And then the next song, really like the title, Natural Born Contrarian.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to round it up really because this was from. So I put this indie sleaze cover, digital cover out, and quite a few people were messaging me and stuff like that. And this band from Australia messaged me and said, called Dole Manchild. I'd not heard of them before, and they just said we're bringing back indie sleaze to Melbourne, Australia, and they do a cover version of 365 by Charlie XX live, and they love LCD Sound System. So I was like, yeah, stick them on. It's going worldwide.
Okay, cool. Well, let's hear it. Here's Dole Manchild with Natural Born Contrarian. Yeah, pretty full on.
So have I converted you to indie sleaze, or are you still on the fence?
There's definitely some interesting stuff in there. I'll have to listen to more of it, but no, I think it's good that you've kind of you've grouped it together. I think it's good that you've done that because it makes more sense of it for me.
Yeah, it's kind of, and the thing is, what are people going to be talking about in 10 years' time? You know, it's good to have stuff looking back to certain things that are happening. I mean, there is a big London scene as well. There's a big kind of London scene with bands like Laurie Wright and Sweet Unrest, and there's like about 10, 15 bands in this London scene where they're kind of like harking back more to the 60s, I guess. But
yeah, what's that band that's really like Paul Weller? I can't remember the name.
Yeah, there is just having a little look. So it Molotovs.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah. So I've got Molotovs. So on that cover, I had Molotovs, Laurie Wright, Soaked, Art, Safe at Any Speed, Sweet Unrest, Stereo Cupid, and Another Day. So that was basically a cover idea that I had in mind, but I basically got into a conversation with Laurie Wright about it and said, look, I want to do this. Who's on the scene? Who would you, if you were doing it, who would you put on? And basically I went out for the day and I came back and Laurie Wright had basically given me write-ups on every band. I mean, amazing. He just basically told me everything I needed to know on every band. So that was great. And I mean, a lot of the bands are doing really well from that. Seeing they all drink at the Marquee Pub in Covent Garden, and they're getting a real buzz and a real vibe as well.
Yeah. I saw like the Green Day thing.
Yeah, did you? Yeah, yeah. The guy from Green Day
Yeah.
came into the Marquee Pub. I tell you, I don't know what you're not based in London, are you?
No, no.
No, neither am I. But yeah, there seems to be, whether it's related around Camden or not. I mean, there's certain scenes that are kind of happening. And I guess if bands are all mates together, you see, I guess this is what I was thinking about with the sort of the sort of indie sleaze was kind of based around a lot of the Camden pubs, wasn't it? And it was like Pete Doherty going out with Kate Moss and then Amy Winehouse and everybody kind of hanging out together and getting pissed up and falling out of pubs and looking worse for wear and all of that. I think it's a bit cleaner now. You don't tend to see so much of that, and it's certainly not centered around drugs so much, although I'm sure it is.
No, it's interesting. And I think Laurie's sober, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Laurie is sober. So but hey, maybe that's the new rock and roll for a lot of bands.
No, I think it'd be quite refreshing, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is refreshing. So yeah, there you go. It's going sleazy. And I think if we look back, if you look back to summer of 2024, it in the future, in 10 years' time, it'll be definitely that colour green and the Charlie XX album and the Dare and a lot, not, hopefully these other bands I've mentioned, who knows, but certainly the bigger bands of the scene will be remembered as a zeitgeist of this summer, and people will remember about having a Brat summer. I mean, I don't know what summer we'll have next year, but this is a Brat summer. You need to start wearing green and going out and embracing it.
Well, I'm lacking green in my wardrobe, so I'll be going out looking for that Pantone.
You will. You will.
Someone needs to write a song with that called that 3507C.
It would be good. I can imagine actually one of these bands writing that particular 350 7C.
Well, the gauntlet's been set then.
The gauntlet's been set. Yeah, somebody write a song and we'll play it.